Right then, welcome back. Today we're having one final run out on the MT-07. I say final, we might get out of the shed again, and I say one, but we're not actually one, it's actually three. But we'll cross them bridges when we get to them. The first thing we did is we went and did a time attack. We were doing the Naked Cup series of events in the Stock League, and the time attack was at Road Atlanta Moto GP circuit with this horrible 90-degree right-hand corner before the start finish straight, and the bike was okay. Same problems, it doesn't warm tyres very well. We'll do pros and cons at the end, as we always do, and this is a nice little feature that Ride didn't have to put in. If you are doing an event and you change the time, it does this wonderful kind of time-lapse thing where you see the racing line appear and the track dries, and they didn't have to do that. They could have just put the blue load screen up, but I quite like it. I sometimes use it when I'm doing endurance races and we're adjusting the timings. But yeah, we went back and we had to go in the dry because you're never going to set a massively fast time in the wet unless the leaderboard's scarcely populated. And this little chicane at the top, the MT-07, oh go on, the MT-07 is one of the few bikes that actually went through that okay. It changes direction really well, it feels light and nimble as it should for a 700cc parallel twin naked bike. It should change direction like a blue bottle fly, but it's not very quick, and again it wouldn't warm the wets and it wouldn't warm the slicks. It seems to be a constant problem with the bike, so that means when you get on the gas, the back tyre just wants to step out initially just as you kind of open the throttle. Before it grips and compresses the suspension, the tyre will just move sideways a little bit, so it's something you've got to be wary of. It's not too bad top speed wise in the grand scheme of things. It's obviously very low, it's only just pulling 140 mile an hour, and that's down the massive long back straight at Road Atlanta. But yeah, braking wise, turning wise, change direction, lean angle, it is rather usable. It could do with a 900cc triple engine, fancy that, eh? I wonder if there's one of them knocking about somewhere. But yeah, not too bad. What did surprise me, genuinely did surprise me, is how well it went on this track, considering, well, I think that this track is very much a power circuit. When we check the times on the leaderboards, it's gone 57th. So almost the top kind of 50 on a bike with a rating of 705, which is right at the bottom end of that leaderboard scale, in amongst our 6s and 998s and other 600cc sports bikes. So that was quite a surprise. Just use all the track, like all of the time on Road Atlanta on something slow. Just be wary of getting a foul lap, because wherever the curbs end, that's where you're going to get a penalty. We then went to Interlagos, and we're going to do this full race. We did 5 laps Interlagos GP in the dark. Now I'm a little bit wary of races in the dark because they don't always come out the best, but this one was okay. It was reasonably entertaining. Yeah, so then let's see how the MT-07 gets on, swimming with some much bigger fish. Well, it was close-ish. We didn't really get held up. Just a lack of grunt. Interlagos is a serious power circuit. I don't think the game developers have factored in the altitude. I'm pretty certain they haven't. The bike doesn't feel any slower. So yeah, just loads of grunt, start finish straight, straight after the first couple of corners. We did go and time attack it. I only did 3 laps. I kind of felt that after 3 laps I wasn't really going to get much more out of it. Yeah, 182nd, again inside the top 200. Every cloud has a silver lining. And this brings me to where I think this bike should sit. Now, I down-tuned it from 706 to 699. I put the stock wheels on and I dropped the brakes onto the second level. So you got standard, level 1, then level 2. So I went for level 1, the middle level on brakes. We went to Cadwell Woodlands, just a short, sharp track that's not got too much of a straight, some nice changes of direction, basically a track to try and play to the bike's strength. We did a fair few laps, 20 in total. Again, the bike loves the twisty bits. It doesn't really like the straight bits. It's not, I don't want to keep saying it's not got a lot of power, but it really doesn't. It's quite slow, especially after using the Street Fighter V4. But this is where it should sit. Again, it's a little bit of an oversight by the developers. They could have just tweaked the modifying the tuning system so that bikes would sit in the right class. But I guess there's just a sliding scale, power and weight and everything else. But it went 5th. It went 5th with a 40.6, so we're about 9/10 away from the fastest time, which again I didn't think was too bad considering it's against some much faster bikes. Pros and cons: it's great on the brakes, it loves corners, it's a new age middleweight. All the manufacturers seem to be going back to parallel twins, and I say back because if you Google the GPZ 500 you'll see that parallel twins were a massive thing in the 80s and 90s, but then everyone got bored of them, but we're going back there again. Cons: more grip than grunt, it's hard to heat the tyres, and it needs detuning to N699 for the leaderboards. But that's the setup I used throughout. I didn't really make any changes, just left it on soft tyres as much as I could. Sometimes you had to use a medium, just depending on the length of the race, it would just wear the front tyre out. But there you go. Good bike, nice little bike. If you're doing the intermediate naked races, it's not a bad bike to use. It's certainly not going to scare you power wise. We didn't really run much in the way of electronics with wheelie control. Engine braking, it likes 2 or 3, it'll take either. But that's it, that's your lot. Thanks for watching, thanks for commenting, liking, subscribing, all these jazz. Next time out we're going to get the Rivali, the MV Rivali 800. So fingers crossed I'll see you then. Take care, stay safe, peace.